Are you gonna send me a Oh, there it is. Guest request. Hey. Hey,
It's
what's
official.
up? I was gonna
How
send you.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well, don't mind me. I was actually, the reason why I'm so awake is because I've been doing a little bit of cleaning, but it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Um, yeah, actually, I just got off a live. I was on one for a while. Totally thought that I was late for work already, but I'm not because my clock hasn't been set back yet.
Your jokes.
It's true.
What time do you start work? When do you have to go to work?
So I started this morning, but then I go back and just I work like several shifts throughout the day with my client that I take care of, and so um, I'll go back. What time is it? Like really, it's 8:45. So I'll leave in about an hour, hour and a half.
Okay, so you got time. We
I
can
got time.
crack open and have a
Yeah,
beautiful conversation.
definitely. You went to sleep
How
on
are
me.
things?
You ate all my
I
fruit
know.
and you went to sleep.
Yeah, I was honestly like, it's the year end at the bank, and it's been so crazy, and it's so exhausting.
Okay, I don't think I realized that you worked at a bank. So,
And I
uh,
manage. So I have to make sure everyone gets their raise, their bonuses, all that good stuff too, right?
well, hook me
Payroll.
up.
I will.
I
I
could use a
will.
raise
You
and a
give me
bonus.
okay, $2? Is that okay?
That's a loony, right? Or toonie?
Oh, she knows the lingo in
I've been,
Canada. Look at you.
yeah, I've been to British Columbia.
All right, you gotta visit Ontario. I'm in Ontario, so whenever you come to Toronto, Ontario, let me know.
Okay, yeah. Well, if I come there, it'll be to see you. I I literally I did my sixth grade. We did reports on. We got assigned certain areas of Canada, and I got
Hmm.
Saskatchewan, which is get this the breadbasket of Canada. That's all I know.
Good job. So how have you
Uh,
been? I've seen some of your videos. I know a little while ago you were kind of sad, like you were having, I guess, an episode. What's going on? You okay?
oh yeah, so I'm no, I'm fine. I yesterday morning I woke up and had I was running late already, and but I was going to the bathroom, went to go pee, and I always turn on TikTok, and I caught a video that really I totally related to the sound, and so I was gonna do it, you know, and
Hmm.
I broke down, and it was the sound was you don't have to leave me, right, and I think it definitely triggered something in me from my ex, but I think a lot of it was my dad. Um, I don't know if
Yeah.
our interview, if I told you like my dad was killed when I was really young. Um,
No, no, sorry to hear. That's unfortunate.
yeah, it was in the line of duty. I was 5 years old
Okay.
and he was 24. And, I think I've definitely struggled with that my whole life. You know, um, I really miss him. And I think a lot of my choices, you know, in dealing with and staying around some of the men that I have stayed with, it all stems from those abandonment issues that I have from him not making it home. He was we lived in Alaska because we were stationed there, and he was
Hmm.
supposed to come home that day to take my brother and I swimming. And I was in my swimsuit all day. And I remember the whole day very vividly. My mom was 9 months pregnant with my baby brother, and she was very irritated because he was late and we were wild. And yeah, it was a very traumatic time for me. And I think that sound definitely triggered that for me. I cried most of the day, but I'm okay. That happens
Wow.
sometimes. We have to feel
Yeah.
our feelings.
I know sometimes like when I speak to so many people who I visit, they still get triggered years
Mhm.
later. There'll be what I find it's a lot of the times the people I speak to, it's like songs. It's like music, right? It's like the sounds that trigger them. Sometimes, they'll hear something on the radio or they'll hear they'll just be somewhere. They'll be in a store. There's some people that the holiday season just drives them absolutely crazy because it
Yeah.
reminds them of the family that they used to have, like when they're divorced and their kids, and how they used to be one big happy family, but now everyone is so fragmented and it just drives them nuts.
Yeah,
It's
that's
tough.
hard. It is. I think for my grandmother losing her son, her only son and oldest child, like the holidays are really hard. And yeah, I mean, it is. But for me, it's more the summertime because, like, June is Father's Day, July 14 is my birthday, and then the 24th is the anniversary of Dad's death, and then August 5th is his birthday. And so it's just like the summer seems to be harder for me. Um, it just feels like one month after the other is just crushing, like soul crushing, you know. And it's been 37 years now. 37
Wow.
years, but it's just not something that you can shake easily.
Oh, it's still gonna be there. It's still gonna be there. Until you find a way
Well, I'm
to put that energy and replace and put into something else, like replace it, right?
right, and I'm better. Like I'm better than I. So my grandmother passed away. It was something we knew was happening, and I was there with her when it happened. And there was something. I'm very spiritual. I believe my dad's presence was there with me that night for the first time. Like I don't know. I got so much peace with all of it. But there are just still times that I feel like if if that hadn't happened, so much of my life would be very different. And I do deal with some of that, you know. But
Yeah.
it,
Hello to everyone joining. Welcome to Amanda's
yeah, oh yeah,
Live. But yeah,
you guys tell you
there you go.
about the oh hey, so the video that I tagged you in, that is the that was the body cam footage from the night my ex was arrested.
Oh my.
There are a few of those videos. I was just tagging you because I figured you may be able to. And if you see where I was defending him so hard, oh gosh, I don't know if you saw these yet, Terraine. The
Not yet, not yet. I'll take a look. But
videos,
no, I
but
don't. I guess the
yeah. So
question I would have for you is, do you think that you would ever be able to put something like that in your past? Because I know I've interviewed you, and to deal with someone that's narcissistic, to deal with someone that's abusive physically, do you think there's going to be a point where it doesn't carry forward into your next relationships?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think now that I have been given the validation that I have, and I realize that it's not something that it wasn't my fault that I didn't do it. Um, does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I realize now that there was nothing I could have done to have changed him or to have made
Mhm.
him realize my worth or to I couldn't fix me. Like nothing I did was ever going to change how he treated me. I realize that now because for so long I really just thought it was me and I was crazy. And it took me joining this community of women and men that have validated me and made me feel like, okay, this really was my reality. This isn't something that I was imagining. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I just feel like I can inhale and exhale now. The reason, I mean, I'm still healing. It'll continue in my journey, but a big part of my content and what I'm doing is like I was telling Brandy earlier. I just need it not to be for nothing. I need to know that it's because of me finding people on here that I was able to realize what I was dealing with. Even though my therapist had said it, even though had validation in that way, it
Hmm.
wasn't enough. I needed to make contact with other people who had survived it, other people who were going through it. I needed to hear that their stories were so similar to mine. I needed that. And if I can be that to someone, then I can make peace with it happening. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
because I interviewed someone who was sexually abused, and they said that they continue to unknowingly find someone that was so similar to their abuser because the person who was sexually abusing them was actually their grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, they were dealing with it that way, but they found that they were subconsciously um, finding themselves in relationship with people that resemble them until they took a step back and said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I am putting out certain energy out there because I'm attracting these type of people. I need to figure out what I'm going to do to repel them." Are you at that point?
Yes. Okay. So that's another thing I was actually just talking about. Like, I had gotten to the point, okay, so when Mike and I split the first time, way long time ago, I found myself in several different situations where I was being abused physically. Um, and I had gotten to the point where I believed it was just me. Um, that I was either attracted to these abusive people or they were attracted to me, or at this point I'm just too broken to ever have anything better. I mean, I'm already 42 and a grandmother, and I thought, oh, this is just what it is for me. And it took my neighbor calling the police that night, because I never would have. It probably saved my life, and it saved everything from that point on. It saved me. It saved the rest of my life and who I am. Um, because I really felt like I was damaged goods. And the more that I've been on this journey and the more dedicated I've been to my healing, the more quality people that I have attracted into my life. People who I've known for years, who I've respected and looked up to, but never felt my own worth enough. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
To
Absolutely.
to feel like I had anything to offer them. Those are the people who are coming to my life now, and who I'm surrounding myself with, and who are surrounding me, and who let me know all the time that they appreciate who I am. And yeah, absolutely. I see myself on the other side of this.
And I bet you some of those people were always around you in your life. You just didn't know they were there.
They have been, like, more like some have been acquaintances or friends of friends, but then a lot of them, even the people that I felt like had kind of like distanced themselves, I felt like maybe I wasn't good enough, or or something. Like, this is male, female, everyone. Those are the people who are drawn more to me now. Who even my they're finding they're finding my strength, and they let me know all the time that my strength is just something that they really admire. And I that that for a while was really hard for me to listen to. Like, okay, yeah, I'm really strong, but I have to be really strong. If I'm not, then what? I wouldn't be here. Like, it was almost like an insult to me, because I was angry because I had to be. But now I'm just thankful that I was able to hang on to that long enough to to experience what I'm experiencing now.
Oh yeah, I know when we talked during the interview session, we found out that you've always had a narcissist around you, even from an early childhood. Remember that?
Yes, yeah, I have. And without going into too much detail, that was difficult, because that person was such a pivotal person point, in my life, and couldn't really help it, because it's not something that really was known back then. And it was a cycle, like watching her, and how her relationship was with me, and how her relationship was with the other women in her life, and then those women and the other women in their lives, and just seeing how that all really developed, it's heart wrenching. But I'm thankful that I'm educated enough about this now that I can look past it and just recognize that this person loves me the best way that they can. And it's not my job to fix them. It's just my job to love them where they are. And but that was hard that day. I realized a lot that day in that interview with you. Um, I know you probably watched that whole realization kind of cross my face.
Of course, of course.
Mm.
For all those saying that we love you, that you love Amanda, she loves you guys too, okay? In the
I love
comments,
you
she
guys
loves
so
each
much.
and
If
every
I
one
don't
of
have
you.
my glasses on, I can't see. Um,
She loves
what
each and
you're
every
saying.
one of you.
Love y'all. I love y'all so much. Please know that I do. It's just that when I'm looking at my glasses, I can just see the reflection. And I don't want anybody else mistaking what color my eyes are. So,
But Amanda, a lot of the suffering that we go through in our families, it's generational. If you take
yeah.
let's say you take on people who discipline their kids with like the belt or the rod or the spoon, right? That's like from their grandparents to their parents to them. It takes one generation to break that cycle. If you have a generation that's a narcissist, that's abusive, it usually comes from somewhere. It takes one to start it and one to end it. And you can be that person that ends the narcissistic behavior, the emotional, mental abuse. You can be that person that ends it so your children don't go through that. Like, how
Yeah.
important would it be for you to say that it ends with me now? My children are going to be better at their age than I was at their age.
I believe in with my whole heart that I've done everything I possibly could to not be the same with my children. Um, I definitely was far from perfect. I mean, a lot of my situation was so different too, but like I was a single mom with three young children, and my oldest child was a product of a non-consensual situation, which was difficult, for a lot of reasons, and them watching me struggle with relationships, and them watching, I think, was definitely difficult for them, and I have a lot of things I wish I could do over.
Mm,
Oh, I have to say that my children are definitely better and will be better at my age than I was. They're better at their age now than I was, and they all have like such strong and just focused minds and such bright futures, and they're just headed for such great things, and I'm so proud of them. And I'd love to believe that I had even the smallest part of who they are. They are my greatest accomplishments by far. So, so
they're going to
yes,
keep you motivated.
I mean, I didn't know why I was motivated to do better or be different, but I was. I couldn't stay in the same small town that generations of people have been raised in my family. I was 17 and I was out. I went to Orlando, Florida. I went back to that small town for a little while, and then by the time I was 21, I was in Aspen, Colorado, like with 3 suitcases and my 3-year-old, because he is a mixed race child, and I was so determined to get him away from that small town mindset and the people and the backwardsness. And it and I'm not dissing on my town. I love so many people there, but there's just not a lot of room for growth, and I didn't think that he had the best chance there.
Mm.
And he lives close to there now, and he's doing really well, and he's very successful, and everybody loves him. Yet to know a person who doesn't love him. Like, he's an incredible human being, and he's married, and has my 2 grandsons and then another grandson on the way just really soon. So, yeah, he's been through so much too. Just, a story for another time. But it just to see him blossom and so beautifully. He is he's someone to be admired, and I definitely admire him. And we grew up together. I mean, he was born 3 days after 18th birthday, and he was my best friend, and yeah, I'm very grateful.
He's like a reminder of you.
He is, and he's better than me. He's so much better than me. Um, but that was the goal, right? I wanted all of them to be better than me, and I'm
How
proud of
proud of
them.
you about
I'm so proud of them. There just really are no words. I was hanging out with my son last night. My youngest son, Cam. I picked him up from basketball, and he made the team. It was the last night of tryouts, and when I went to pick him up, he was just so just happy and excited. He's like, "Mom, can we play my music? Because I got a really killer playlist." And I was just like, "Oh my god, not his music!" Because
it.
and he put it on. It was like a bunch of really goofy, girly music that me and his sister would have listened to when she was younger. Taylor Swift and like Black Eyed Peas, My Humps, and he's just like he's dancing and he's
My
a
humps, my
yeah,
humps.
yeah. And, and Taylor Swift, and he was like Cameron is almost 6 feet tall and like pushing 200 pounds, and to see him dancing like that and just being goofy with me, it was just so much fun. I think I sent you the picture of us.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
just those are my moments. Like with teenagers, you just never know what you're gonna get from minute to minute, honestly. So like it
Yeah,
was just
you can get like a crazy man like me as a teenager, right?
I'm telling you, they're all so different. Like they can be the most agreeable children in the world their whole lives, and then they'll hit 14 and they're just like, and you're just, and uh, it gets easier as they come along, But like my with my youngest, like when he got mad at me a few weeks ago, like he was really disrespectful, and I was like, well, check it out. I'm not taking you where I came here to take you to. If you
Mhm.
want to ride from someone, you're respectful. I don't care who they are, and I'm your mother, and I deserve that. I'm sorry. I was here early. You're playing PlayStation. I don't have time for this, and I didn't take him, and he was pissed. He texted me a lot of horrible, mean things, and I was crying. And I messaged his dad, and he's like, he didn't say that, and I was like, oh yeah, his. It was pretty funny, but we got through it. Now, if that had happened, that exact situation had happened with my oldest son, I would have been devastated. Like calling my mom to just come and get him, and I may as well give up as a mother forever because I have failed. But I've learned how to roll with the punches and just realize that it's okay. This isn't a bad life. This is a bad moment, and we're gonna get through it. And within I think a day and a half, he had called and apologized and
That's
asked me
nice.
for a new Apple Watch, and we were good. I'm
Did
really
you
blessed.
did you ever did you ever
Amazing.
see yourself in this situation?
In which
Like when you
situation?
when you were growing up, right? And you had all these dreams of being like a Disney princess, a Disney queen, and you could have Prince Charming, you could have riding on horseback. Did you ever think your life would turn out to be like this, where you've gone through all of this, right? Like domestic
I,
violence, narcissist behavior, tough.
Nobody imagines that. I was never the kid that wanted to be the princess. I mean, I felt like I was kind of a prince. I don't know. I always wanted to be a mom.
Mm.
I wanted to get married. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to have kids. And I wanted the white picket fence and the happily ever after. And when my son and I got into an argument, and and he's kind of throwing back mistakes at me and reminding me of things where I messed up, and how he wasn't going to make the same choices or mistakes with his kids. And I told him, like, I pray that you don't. Like, that makes me so happy, because he and his wife have each other and they're partners and they're amazing together. Um, it didn't work out that way for me, but it wasn't the plan. This wasn't the plan. Like, my plan was to fall in love and be with that person the rest of my life. Obviously, I didn't plan for all of these things to happen. And a lot of these things were definitely not my fault. Some of them are the results of my actions and my choices. I have to accept that, and I have to be honest with my children when it comes to that, so that they can see how my mistakes led me into other situations. But I've always tried to be as honest with them as I could, and I've always been as transparent as possible because of that. No, this wasn't the plan, but I'm a firm believer that no matter how many detours we take on our way to what our prize is, that we get there eventually. And some of us, we have to go the long way around. And I'm thankful for that long way around. I'm thankful that I was able to take it in stride, and I was able to be resilient and tough it out. I'm
Do you think you
thankful.
can still,
I'm sorry.
is your like at the end of your journey, is it still the same prize? The happily ever after? Is it still the same prize, or is it a different version of it now because you've gone through what you've gone through?
I think that whatever is my divine destiny, I believe that it will be more appreciated now than it would have been had I gone straight to it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, because I can tell you,
It
I'll
takes
tell you something, Amanda.
very little.
Most people, no, what, most people in my family, um, are not like in my family, it's either they're not married or they're divorced, and the divorce ended very poorly. And they'll tell you that probably should not have married that person. So around me growing up, I didn't have any positive married couples. It wasn't until I reached my 30s when I started to distance myself from my family and in my extended family, then I started surrounding myself with more positive people that I began to see these beautiful marriages, these beautiful mothers, these beautiful fathers, right? And then that gave me hope and that put me in line with what my end goal is. And that's why I love having these conversations, because that's how you and I met, having these conversations,
Yeah.
because I feel I'm making a difference just by communicating because there's sometimes that's all you need is someone to speak to. We're in different countries, but yet we're providing a shoulder to each other during these tough times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And oh, I just appreciate you so much. Like, you have no idea. Like, you have been so inspiring to me. And a lot of, like, when I first found your content, like, it was just fun and it was back and forth and giggles, but just realizing the depth of who you are has just been amazing. And honestly, like, I don't know if I even realized that to full capacity until we had our interview for your podcast, and I was like, ended that interview thinking we should do that again. We should redo that because it didn't go at all as I planned. Like, I really felt like it was going to be more, the typical narcissistic abuse survivor questions, but it wasn't. And you brought so much out of me. It was like a free therapy session, and, and the rest of that night, like, I just really didn't want anyone bothering me. I just needed to sort of sit back and let that marinate and reflect on it. And it was so good for me. And I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for your presence in my life. When I hear from you and I get texts from you, they're always right on time. Like I can't even explain that. Like even though you're just sort of checking in and we may not go into depth about anything, just you're checking in with me, like totally it centers me.
Yeah,
You know what
that
I mean?
makes.
Like, you're saying hi to me.
Hello, everybody that has joined, all these beautiful souls. Just so you guys know, Amanda is the woman of the hour. She's just sharing her story and letting everyone know that you can survive. Because she's surviving and she's flourishing from what she's telling us today, right?
I'm doing well. Yeah. I mean, I'm making it. I was living in my little camper. We talked about that.
Hmm.
And now I've moved into my gigantic one bedroom mansion, right? So
Yep. A mansion with 4 bathrooms, everyone. You guys ain't ready
honey,
for this mansion.
I am so happy right now. Like I'm so much pride in what I've overcome to get where I am right now by myself with no assistance other than, you know, grateful for my friend, Ryan who's in here and my brother for helping me do some heavy lifting. Um, but I worked my butt off to get here. I've been working a lot, and thankful my work situation is incredible. Like I'm doing exactly what I love and what I feel I'm called to be doing. I feel fulfilled in myself and the people that are around me every single day. One thing I notice, and I think other people will notice, is when you go back to toxic relationships or when you find yourself in one, you nothing's going right. Like you can't find a blessing, you can't find anything good anywhere sometimes. And when I've left that situation, every time I'm tripping over my blessings. I'm tripping over the good things. I can't stop running into them. And the minute that I find myself back merged with that person, it all disappears again. And you can't deny that kind of stuff. You can't deny it because it's so visible. And I've had to work a little harder, being it's a single income type thing, and I've had to dig myself out of a hole. But I did it, and nobody can claim that but me. And I needed, I needed that. And yeah, I'm not broken. I thought I was broken, but I'm not broken.
No.
Nope.
No, you're definitely not. And it's amazing how like your job is someone that takes care of other families.
Mm-hmm.
And and I look at nurses and care workers and things like that. They always spend so much time taking care of others. It always makes me feel to ask the question, who takes care of them? Who's there to provide support when they can't provide support for themselves? I feel bad for those type of people.
Yeah. Um, I I don't know. Like in my particular situation, like I found out probably about 6 years ago. I was definitely called to do hospice work. It wasn't really my choice when I thought I was going to go and be a nurse. But it's definitely my calling. But I got lucky enough to be contracted by just one family right now, and I take care of the man that I take care of. He's young. He's 35, but he's my best friend. Like he has become my very best friend, and I couldn't be more grateful. Like we argue and we fuss and we laugh, and he's very important to me. And so when I go to work every day, I get to go and I get to take care of someone who is important to me, and his livelihood and his happiness is important to me, and it's a big deal for me. And to know that I'm doing something every day that I believe with 100% certainty that there's not another person out there that could do a better job than me at what I do, I believe that in myself. I believe that he and his family believe the same thing. Um, and I believe um, that I make life a little easier and a little happier for him. Um, and I feel respected and I feel worthy and I feel valued every day. And I cannot say that I've ever felt that in my life anywhere else. In a job, in my family, in my friendships. I've never, or maybe I wasn't open to receive it, but I can tell you that the first time that I had he and his family look at me and say that I was an asset to them, that meant everything to me.
Oh, definitely. You will always be. You know what I think, and I was thinking about this as you're saying that. As when we're growing up, right, as children, we are an asset because we're viewed as young, innocent, and pure, right? We're an asset to our parents, to our family, because everyone loves kids unconditionally. It's and we don't necessarily have to do that much work because as soon as we're born, oh my God, look at the cute little baby face, cute little baby feet, and things like that, right? When we
Right?
become adults now, we have to find out in our lives who are we going to be an asset to and who's going to be an asset to us. I think that's where we truly have to work because people aren't going to like you just because you've reached the age of majority. You need to figure out your place in someone's life and what you can bring to their life. Like I look at even some of the people that's in right now. I look at the people that I've met on social media. I look at the people that I've met at work, at school, and it brings me joy that not only are these people impacting my life, I'm impacting their life
Right.
positively, but you have to work
Yeah.
for that,
Yeah.
right? And especially when it comes to, let's say, relationships where there's someone you're dating or marriage, you can't just show up and be important. You have to make yourself important to that person. So I think that's the difference. We don't learn it as children because we don't have to. We are born with importance because everyone loves kids.
Truth. Yeah, because they're so cute all the time. No matter what they
All the
like, if an adult pooped all over themselves, like hanging out and talking to us, we'd be like, but like, unless they're like our grandparents who we've learned to love our whole lives. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
little can just be sitting on our laps and take, and you're just like, oh, it's warm. It's on my leg. You don't think about it. Um, but yeah, you make a really, really good point there because that's another thing that I've definitely been paying more attention to is I've always spent the biggest part of my life trying to be important to other people, trying to be what other people want or need or like. I've always sort of even changed myself to fit who I thought they wanted me to be. Um, the things that I've gone through in my life, and there have been a lot of them, um, brought me to a place where I'm my authentic self now. I'm who I
Mm.
am. The people that are still around, they're around because they like who I really am. Um, and I'm focused a little less on changing myself to fit their needs, and I'm focusing a little more on what are they bringing into my life. Are they making me feel like a better person? Do I feel inspired by them? Am I learning from them? Am I growing because they're in my life? And a lot of my relationships are, especially new ones, are those kinds of relationships. Or they're mutually beneficial. But I think I definitely still have some relationships where people need me a little more, and because of the stuff I've gone through, I've attracted a lot of people who need that. They draw from my strength, and I appreciate that too. I just feel like any relationship we have, that should be how it is. Like there should be positivity being exchanged. Helping each other grow and learn and expand and moving forward. Anything that drags me backwards or pulls me back into the direction that I just came from, I don't want it in my life. I don't, I can't, I don't have time for that. I don't. Um, and that means unfortunately letting go of a lot of people who've been around for a while and who are important to us, but we're not that important to them.
Mm, that's right.
You have to realize that, and it can be painful.
How's it feel? How do you feel being important to someone? How does that make you feel now?
Oh, it's important to me to be important to people. Um, yeah, I mean, not to feel be all like on my high horse or anything, but I mean, we all need to feel value, you know. And I think that I've always just allowed myself to be around people who made me feel disposable. So this whole feeling of being valued um and necessary to people other than my children when they were younger. I mean, they don't really need me now. It it's so foreign to me, and it's just such a welcome feeling because I really have always put myself out there. I've always really kind of just I've always gone so hard for every person in my life. Like I've given so much of myself to people that they didn't have to work for that. They didn't have to give me anything. I wanted to feel worthy, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything. And I never expected anything in return until one day I realized that I was broken and empty. And I went to a mental hospital. I just thought it was me. And to have everybody there, you know, the second day tell me, no, like, no, it's not. You know, you cannot keep going at this pace and expect and not get anything in return and expect to keep going. And, you know, and it was in that moment when I found myself so broken and empty that all the people that I was going so hard for and fighting and just wearing myself down for, they were nowhere to be found when I needed them. And that's not going to happen anymore. And that doesn't matter who it is. Like some of the people that I love the most in the world, I've had to let go of because I feel like in time it'll all work itself back out. But I refuse to keep sacrificing my health and what's good for me to and what I know is right to maintain relationships that aren't mutually beneficial. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Because from what I'm getting, there hasn't been anyone that has sacrificed that much for you.
I don't feel that. Um, you know, we have parents and grandparents and I've had that, but I feel like, you know, now that my siblings are older, my sister and I have definitely gotten closer, my brother and I. And, you know, I've always done everything I could. I'm there to fight quick for them. I haven't always felt like people have been there to fight as quick for me. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm just that firecracker. Like I'm 5 feet nothing. And you know, but I when somebody I care about is being hurt or being someone's coming toward them, like, oh, I'm on it. You know, like I don't care if I have to drive from Alabama to Colorado and back across to, you know, anywhere. I don't care. I'm there and I am bulldogging. And I think because I am that way, that those people don't feel like they have to be so protective of me. Does that make sense? Like they don't need to. Like
Oh,
Amanda's
it
got.
does. Yeah.
She's
And the
good.
beautiful thing about it is there's people who are watching you on live now. They're totally agreeing with you because they can relate. And that's the beautiful thing about it is when you're building your community, or what I like to call it, when you're building your tribe, it's people uplifting. No one gets left behind when you build your own tribe.
It's true. It's true. And, you know, it took me a while to figure out that I could do that, you know, because there are so many, you know, when everybody that you've grown up with and that you've loved and you place all your value in them, when they're not feeding you with positivity and encouragement, it's very deflating. And I really feel like for a lot of years, I've kept myself going. And I'm okay. So I'm the kind of person who a lot of people think that, you know, people who don't really know me or haven't taken the time to really know me would say that I'm conceited or full of myself, or because I project confidence, and I project and I love everyone, and I smile at everyone, and I want to make other people feel welcome and loved and cared about. Um, that puts some people off. I had a hard time with women, you know, for a long time, just not liking me just because they saw me. Um, and they would come up to me some years later and actually have a conversation with me, and they would say, "Wow, you're really nice," and I'm like, "Okay." I mean, it was so confusing to me, and they were like, "Well, I always thought you were really stuck up," and I was like, "Why? Like, did I do something? Did I say something at some point?" They're like, "Oh, no, you just you walk around with your nose in the air," and I'm like, "Well, I'm short." I'm like, "But I
All
am,"
the
and
all the
I
conceited girls are short.
I mean, I have to look up, but I'm genuinely like, I can genuinely, honestly say that I have never done anything intentionally to hurt anyone or out of malice or spite. Like, it's not in me to be that way. Have I been angry? Have I been hurt? Yeah, yeah, for sure. But it's just not in me to purposely hurt any person. And I'm sure that I have inadvertently done it. But, um, it really makes me sad when I hear stuff like that, or people misconstrue something I said or hear something from a third party. Um, and it makes me sad to realize just how many people we have in our lives sometimes that we allow to get so close to our hearts who really don't have the best of intentions. And I'm kind of dealing with something like that now, you know, and it's difficult. I gotta find my charger, but you know, what do you do? I mean, we could sit there and we could go back and talk about it and tear that person apart and tell all their secrets. I just can't do it. There's a particular person who I've allowed in my life a lot of times who it's always had the same result. You know, they'll see me doing really well. She will come and, you know, she'll have some really horrible thing happening and reach out to me, and I'm there to help. And then she will shred my whole life. And when that happens, it's devastating every time. But the last time it happened was the last time it will happen. And she's actually found my TikTok and created an account to make some pretty nasty comments a few times. And I took it in stride. I knew who it was immediately. And I don't hate her. I don't anything her. Like, it's just become a person who is insignificant. Um, but I realized that it's going to be one of those ongoing things. I attract narcissistic people. I used to say I was an asshole magnet. But now I realize it, yeah. But and it's okay. It is what it is. I know that I have given that situation so much of my time and my energy that I just won't do it anymore. Um, I see it for what it is, but unfortunately, some other people that are really close to me that I love more than my life have been kind of sucked in by the same person. And so I'm just trying to be patient while that works itself out. And I believe that it will. Um, I hate that they're probably going to get hurt in the process of realizing the truth of the situation, but it's not my place to tell her secrets or to reveal her truths. I don't see anything good coming from it. Um, that's probably the hardest thing that I'm dealing with right now in my life, within my life, is that situation. That I have to let it play out because they're all adults, you know?
Yeah, and you have the choice. You can separate these people from yourself. You don't have to share the same energy nor the same space with these people. That's something that I've learned. As soon as I sense a level of negativity that I don't want in my life, I start to put space between me and whatever that's causing that, because we only have one life and we need to live it in the most positive way, because stress can have so many effects on your body, on your mental health. You need to make sure that you're only surrounding yourself with good people, good energy as often as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, well, the people that it's hard for me, they're my children. You know, it's my oldest son and his wife, who kind of, it's a long story and we'll have to discuss it more at length later. It's I'm prepared to even go into right now. But um it is what it is. I mean, I'm always going to be right here with open arms, and I'm always going to be here to resolve whatever I can. But I
Mm.
can't fight an invisible battle against a person who isn't who they say they are. Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
can't do it. So I have to let them work that out.
yeah.
That's where everything else in my life is nothing but good. I have so many good things. I have my breakdowns and I cry. I'm very authentic on like whatever this or
She
seriousness.
cries twice a week on TikTok.
Whatever I do is truly what I'm feeling at that time. It's, you know, everybody. And sometimes I'm crying, then you know, and then I'm being silly, and then I'm being educational. But it's just you get all my personalities, and you're welcome. I don't know.
Oh
I'm
boy.
each and every person I've connected with on this app. I am. You know, when I signed in originally, when it was Musically, I got the account because my daughter and my son were little. My daughter was 13 and now she's 19. So I've had it for a long time. I mean, my first videos are actually with my kids. So it's just being silly and
Mhm.
goofy. And then when I logged back into this thing years later, like this after my abuse situation happened the last time, I was I was on quarantine. I was alone because the kids were quarantined at their dad's. So I spent the holidays alone, and I got obsessed with Dollar Tree DIYs, like going to Dollar Tree, buying all these $1 items and taking them apart and making stuff. Like I don't know, I was bored. So, and then I was learning soap, and I was learning. I taught myself how to do so many useful things. And well, then I found Lee Hammock's channel, the narcissism stuff, and
Mhm.
I had been following for a while, and I had, and that's kind of, and then I found this community, and it has just been such a positive thing in my life. And then I started to make some content, and then I started becoming a little more transparent, and it's all been so beneficial. I mean, a lot of people make fun of me that don't really understand it, and they're just like, "Ah, TikTok," but I don't care. Like I really don't. I feel like this platform has allowed me to grow and to heal so much, and it's allowed me to offer my experience to help others do the same. And as long as I'm able to benefit other people, I'm going to keep doing that. And as long as I'm being benefited, I'm going to keep doing that. And I love every one of you guys, like deeply. Like I would do anything I could to help you. And know that I mean that from my heart.
I know you do. I definitely know you
I'm gonna steal your Fruit Loops. You know,
do.
I ate the
Well,
rest of my.
you and half of TikTok are trying to steal my Fruit Loops, but
No, I think it was yesterday morning. I ate Captain Crunch this morning because I was out of Fruit Loops.
they
So,
owe me money. Fruit Loops owes me money because I've been promoting them for like the last
do
two,
you,
3 months.
do you guys have real Fruit Loops in Canada, or is it like the M&Ms and Smarties thing?
What? What do you mean real Fruit Loops?
It's like, so my friend, I have a really good friend that lives there, and so it's can't like the Smarties, you know, those candies. They're
Yes,
not the
yes,
same
smart.
Smarties we have in the States.
Oh yeah.
Like yours are chocolate, like kind of like M&Ms, right?
I would assume so. I can't even remember the last time.
Coated shell or whatever.
Um,
So the Smarties I've experienced here are like these little, I guess a little roll of candy, tiny roll of candies that we get at
Yep.
Halloween. Little, like, kind of like sweet tarts, but not really.
Okay, okay, okay.
Why are we talking about candy? Because I'm craving something sweet.
And plus, you gotta go get ready. You gotta go to work anyways and save the world.
You're gonna get me fired. So, hey, everybody, if you connect, like if you relate to me, add me, follow me. I have another account, discarded.diva,
She
because
has
I've
another.
been banned from having any
Give
DMs.
her a follow and a like.
So yeah, just add me on both and keep up with me. I appreciate you guys and all the encouragement. I appreciate you, Terraine, so much. You need to watch that interview and make sure we don't need to redo anything because I feel like my video is and my audio is pretty crappy.
No, you'll be
So
fine. I'll edit
okay.
it, and if I need to change anything, I'll change anything. But no, it's
And if it's
nice.
stupid, just edit something in there too.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Thank you so
All right, we'll
much.
talk.
I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you. All right,
Bye,
bye.
everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye.